everyone. Assalamu alaikum. That wasn't loud enough. Louder. Much better, much better. Thank you guys for being here. My name is Aram Shakir, and I'm the chair of the East Brunswick Human Relations Council. I am so happy to welcome you all to our 6th annual Ramadan lighting ceremony as we prepare for the holy month of Ramadan. 6 years ago, this started as a simple idea, and it has grown into something so special. So thank you to all of you for being here. I stand here today with deep gratitude as we gather to mark the beginning of Ramadan. While this month is sacred for Muslims, this moment is about all of us, coming together, learning from one another, and strengthening the sense of belonging that makes East Brunswick our home. I always like to begin by recognizing the people who made this evening possible, because it truly doesn't happen without those who show up and those that lead with intention. So tonight is really no exception of that. First and foremost, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for his countless blessings upon all of us. Second, a very special shout out to East Brunswick Public Library, the real MVPs for tonight. They practically hosted this entire thing in less than 24 hours, and we're truly grateful for that. Especially Karen, Chris, Maria, and the other Chris who helped out in the back room, which you'll see shortly. I'd also like to thank the Recreation Department for setting everything up, so the beautiful sign and Ramadan lighting is all them. And a huge thanks to East Brunswick TV for recording our special evening every year. Anthony and Brian, thank you so much. I also want to sincerely thank the Board of Education for recognizing both Eid holidays through district-wide school closures. That simple act of inclusion carries deep meaning for our families and sends a powerful message to our children that they are seen and valued. So thank you, East Brunswick Board of Education. I would like to also thank our amazing township leadership, Mayor Brad Cohen, Councilman Kevin McAvoy, Economic Development Officer Robert Zuckerman, and of course, my incredible East Brunswick Human Relations Council members, Debbie and Tariq, for always showing up. Gaura from TAP into EB. He's here somewhere too. There we go. And a huge thanks to Islamic Center of East Brunswick for sponsoring the most important part of the night, the refreshments. And finally, the people who work so hard to ensure our after party is an amazing one. The leads, Aram, not me, there's another Aram. Nini, Fatima, Nancy, Yasna, Ani, and Mansoura for taking the lead and making tonight happen. So they deserve a round of applause. Ramadan is a month of reflection, devotion, and community for Muslims around the world. It's a time when families and friends gather together, break their fast, share meals, and show up for one another through acts of kindness. It's about deepening our faith, building empathy, and strengthening the bonds that hold us together, not just within our own community, but across all communities. But I know for a lot of us here, it's hard to fully embrace the spirit of Ramadan when we are constantly witnessing pain and suffering around the world. Each headline, each image, each story can feel very overwhelming. But even in these moments of darkness, Ramzan calls on us to seek the light, to remain steadfast, to reflect on our blessings, and to turn our grief into purpose. Our unity and compassion matter, and they do create change. So as we come together to break our fast this month, let us remember those who are carrying unimaginable loss. Loss of their homes, loss of their livelihoods, loss of their loved ones, and loss of so much more. Let's keep them in our prayers and pray for their healing and peace, and let's respond with compassion through solidarity, generosity, service, and finally, let's continue to advocating for peace and justice always. In just a few moments, as we light up our surrounding, let us also light up our hearts with compassion, understanding, and kindness. Let's celebrate our differences, honor one another, and continue building a community rooted in respect and friendship. This ceremony is a reminder that no matter our background, we are stronger when we come together. So let's continue building those bridges today and always. Without further ado, I'd like to now invite Mayor Cohen.
Thank you, Erin, and thanks everybody for showing up tonight. I generally look at the weather we've had for the last couple of days and say, oh my gosh, I haven't seen anything like this in 10 years. It's not been this cold, this much snow. Can't wait for season to be over. And normally I would say, well, I live in New Jersey. It's seasons. This is what we're used to. As soon as I get tired of one season, we're really ready to move to the next one. But I think I'm going to have to take that back this year because we're still deep in the middle of winter and I'm kind of done with it. But for those of you who are going to be celebrating Ramadan, I remember when we started this about 6 years ago, and that was a much different story. It was warmer out. Sundown was more 8 o'clock at night. And obviously, as the holiday moves a little bit shorter and moves up each year, now we're flush in the middle of winter. So I guess the good part of that is that you get to break your fast a little bit earlier. So I get that. It's a deeply emotional and purposeful and important holiday for those of you in the Muslim community, as I know it's when the Prophet Muhammad had the Quran revealed to him. And in this month, it is an opportunity to reflect on where we are, how lucky we are to be living in this country, to have the things that we have, to think about those that have less. And while we think about things going on all over the world, I think it's important to recognize that some of those issues are right here at home. You don't need to go very far to find people who have less, who are struggling, who often don't have the means that you have, the homes that you have, access to food that you have. These are things that are happening right around us. We have charities and we have groups and organizations in the township that are here to try to help those individuals, but we need to start charity from within and to recognize that sometimes it's better to give to others than to keep for yourselves. And I think this is a month for folks to really reflect upon that. And it doesn't really need to be something that's done just during Ramadan. That should be done all year long, and it should not be done just by Muslims. It should be done by everybody. So I wish you a very easy, happy, meaningful Ramadan. The community is with you. It's nice to see you growing. And I look forward to breaking a little bread with you in the break room after this is over. And thank you all for coming out.
Thank you so much, Mayor, for that warm welcome. Now I'd like to invite a representative from Islamic Center East Brunswick, Sister Maria Agim. She has over 22 years of experience as an educator and administrator in private schools, and she's currently the principal at the ICEB Sunday School.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. So I have to, before I start, recognize that although at some point I was a technology teacher, I still like a little old school paper in my hand. So I'm not a pro. Iram's got her phone. Mayor Cohen, mashallah, he's a total pro. So, okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of God, most compassionate, most merciful. Good evening, everybody. Peace be on you. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you all for being here tonight, our neighbors, our friends, our families, elders, and our children. I'd like to begin by acknowledging our town's mayor, Mayor Cohen. Thank you so much for doing this, and all the guests who've come and joined us outside of the Muslim community. Your presence truly means a lot to us, and we're grateful you chose to share this moment with us. My name is Maria, like Aaron mentioned, and among many things I'm involved in, one of my greatest honors is to serve as a principal of our masjid, the Islamic Center of East Brunswick, at the Sunday School. ICEB is not only a place of worship, but of learning, of service, and of dialogue. And where I get to work with children, the heart of our future. Tonight, though, I'm here simply as a member of the township and standing with you all to welcome a very special time of year, the month of Ramadan. Ramadan is often described as a month of fasting during which Muslims abstain from drink and food from dawn to dusk. And while that is true, it's really just the surface. At its core, Ramadan is about light. Light in our hearts, light in our homes, and light in how we treat one another. It's a time when Muslims around the world pause to reflect, to pray, and to give generously, and to reconnect with not just God, but with family, friends, and the wider community. For our children at Sunday School, we explain that Ramadan in simple terms. We tell them that it's a month where we try a little harder to be kind to each other, a little more patient with each other, and a little more grateful. We talk about feeding the hungry, checking in on our neighbors, and forgiving one another. And honestly, those are values that go far beyond any one faith. They're values that help the community. That's why an event like this, lighting our township for Ramadan, is so meaningful. Light is a universal symbol. It represents hope when things feel heavy. It represents guidance when things feel uncertain. And right now, in a world that can sometimes feel divided or rushed or overwhelming, choosing to come together around light is a really powerful statement. So thank you all for being here. To our non-Muslim neighbors tonight, thank you for your openness and your support. Ramadan is not just something Muslims observe behind closed doors. It's something we live out in the way we show up and shared spaces like this one tonight. Your presence reminds us that mutual respect and understanding aren't just ideals, they're actually actions. As a Muslim woman and as an educator, I'm especially moved seeing our young people here tonight. I grew up in Houston, Texas, at a time when the Muslim population was really, really tiny, not even small, just tiny. We hardly had any Muslims around. Many of my role models were non-Muslim neighbors and public school teachers. That's why I truly believe that when children watch adults come together with warmth and respect, they learn what community really looks like. They learn that faith can be a bridge, not a barrier, and they learn that they belong right here. Growing up, my 13-year-old self could have never imagined such an event that you guys are putting on tonight. But it's because of the collaboration and the inclusive spirit of the East Brunswick community that events like this are possible. As we light this Ramadan lights, my hope is that they remind us of our shared responsibility to look out for one another. May they remind us to check on our neighbor, to offer help quietly, to speak gently, to lead with compassion during Ramadan and long after it ends. Thank you all for being here, and to everyone who made this event possible, our local leaders for their support. May this month bring peace, reflection, and blessings to us all. Thank you guys again.
Thank you. Thank you, Sister Maria, for the reflection on Ramadan. Now I'd like to welcome from Masjid Dhani, Sakina Sabir. She is a member and leader of the youth group, so please give her a round of applause.
Assalamu alaikum. Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Nights like tonight are a reminder of what makes East Brunswick special. People coming together with openness and respect. I'm Sakina Saber, a Rutgers student and a member of the Dawoodi Bohra community, and I'm grateful to be representing both of these groups here this evening. I want to begin by thanking the East Brunswick Human Relations Council for continuing to create space for moments like this. In particular, Aram Shakir deserves special recognition for her years of commitment and care in bringing this event together. We are also grateful to Holly Sarami, president of the East Brunswick Interfaith Clergy Council, whose leadership connects more than 20 houses of worship and reminds us that interfaith cooperation is not just possible here, it's thriving. I'd also like to extend our thanks to Mayor Brad Cohen for his ongoing support of diversity, inclusion, and mutual respect here in East Brunswick. Having the presence and backing of local leadership sends a powerful message about the kind of community we are building together. On behalf of the Dawoodi Bohras of New Jersey and our masjid on Denham's Corner Road, I want to share how meaningful it is for all of us to call East Brunswick home. Our community has been here for over 2 decades, and this year marks our 22nd Ramzan in this township. For me personally, being able to observe Ramzan in East Brunswick is deeply significant. Ramzan is a time of reflection, discipline, generosity, and empathy. And it is also a time when community matters most. Being able to practice our faith openly while also feeling supported and respected by our neighbors is something I never take for granted. Nights like tonight remind me that belonging isn't just about being present, it's about being embraced. As we begin this sacred month, we hope Ramzan encourages all of us to lead with compassion, to listen with intention, and to care for one another more deeply. May it be a month that strengthens our connections and renews our shared commitment to peace and understanding. Our thoughts and prayers remain with all residents of East Brunswick and with communities everywhere who are in need of hope and healing. Ramzan Mubarak, and thank you for being here with us tonight.
Beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful, Sakina. Now I'd like to welcome our very own from East Brunswick High School, from the MSA, Muslim Student Association, President Harish Shahid.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Haris Shahid, and I have the honor of serving as president of our local MSA. First of all, on behalf of the East Brunswick High School Muslim Student Association, I want to thank all of you for being here tonight as we gather to celebrate the beginning of Ramadan and this special lighting ceremony. I would also like to thank our organizers and everyone who worked countless hours behind the scenes to make this happen. Seeing community members come together like this truly means a lot. Ramadan, to me, is a month that holds deep meaning for Muslims all around the world. For many people, it's just known as a month where Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset, but Ramadan is about much more than eating or drinking. It's a time for reflection, self-discipline, gratitude, and growth. It's a chance to strengthen our relationship with God, to become more aware of those who are struggling, and to push ourselves to be more patient, generous, and compassionate. When you fast, you feel hunger and thirst in a way that reminds you of your blessings that you may otherwise take for granted. It teaches empathy, humility, and it encourages us to turn those feelings into action through charity, service, and kindness to the people around us. But Ramadan is also incredibly communal. It's late nights at the mosque, it's breaking fast with family and friends, it's sharing meals, moments, and prayers. Events like tonight are powerful because they make people feel seen. They show that our community values diversity and that our differences are something to celebrate, not hide. For Muslim students especially, having Ramadan recognized publicly within our town makes a big difference. That support matters more than you might realize. I also want to say that Ramadan is not for everyone in a way. Even if you are not fasting, the values of this month, reflection, generosity, patience, and unity, are universal. They're things we can all practice in our daily lives. So whether you're here because you observe Ramadan, because you're supporting a friend, or because you're curious and want to learn, thank you. Your presence here tonight builds bridges, and that's exactly what we hope to accomplish. So from all of us in the Muslim Student Association, we wish you and your families a blessed and peaceful Ramadan. Ramadan Mubarak, and thank you again for being here. Jazakallah.
You guys could do better for him. Let's get louder. All right, for the last speech of the evening, I'd like to now welcome Sami Shaban. He's got a long, impressive bio, so here goes. He's a New Jersey-based attorney, small business owner, and longtime civic leader. He's a founding member of the New Jersey Muslim Civic Coalition, where he has worked to support mosques and strengthen civic engagement across the state. He also serves on the board of the Franklin Food Bank and is a founding member of the Franklin Food Insecurity and Safety Coalition, which focuses on long-term solutions to hunger in the community. He previously served as the vice president of the Franklin Township Board of Education and as vice chair of the Somerset County Planning Board. He's a proud Rutgers alumni and is admitted to practice law in New York and New Jersey. Give it up for Sami.
Inshallah. Assalamu alaikum. Are you guys doing okay? Because we're about to embark on what I consider to be the highlight of the entire year. There's no month like Ramadan. I want all of my Christian, Jewish, Hindu, and other brothers and sisters to realize that this is not a painful month for us. Sometimes I reflect on this and people go, oh man, you got to fast all day. It is our joy. It's our pleasure to actually dive into this month. It's hard to understand if you're not Muslim, right? I mean, I'm looking around. People here understand what I'm saying, but when you dive into this month, you realize that the hunger is actually just one small piece. And actually, to my Muslim brothers and sisters, my advice to us this month is to lean into the hunger, to lean into the pain, to not try to go from house to house where we're going to iftar, breaking a fast, and we're enjoying ourselves, but to really understand what the meaning is behind it. The Prophet, peace and blessings upon him, has given us so many lessons. But as Iram had mentioned, I started something in my town called the Food Insecurity and Safety Coalition. That brought together over 100 different entities in Franklin Township, the town over from here, to solve one problem, food insecurity. Food insecurity is a real thing. The reason I did that is because I found that in my district, almost half of the students could not afford lunch. Don't think just because we live in a place like East Brunswick or Franklin that everyone can sort of afford the things that we can. So what is it that we learn from not having? What is it that we can take from it? When I went for my interview for the food bank of Franklin, one of the largest food banks in the East Coast, they said, why do you want to do this? I said, because the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, said that you cannot go to sleep when your neighbor is hungry. You can't. Now, as Muslims, we can't do that. Ramadan teaches us what it is to be restraining. And not just because Allah wants us to feel that pain, but because it's actually a means for us to ascend. When your stomach is full, when you're low on energy, you can't do those higher calling things. This is a month for us to strip ourselves away from that. But I would encourage us really deeply, more than almost any other year, to just think about what it is when we're breaking that fast. Instead of rushing to that breaking of that, that jolt of energy, understand the people around the world that may not have that piece of bread or that meal in front of them, and how much they would give to be in that situation. When I sat on the Board of Education, I realized what a blessing it is just to have a Board of Education, what it is to have schools. And there's so many people in this world that are doing without. And I don't want to bring us down in any sense, but I want us to take this opportunity to really think about all the blessings that we have and how we can reflect and share them. When I was growing up in Mawa High School, I was embarrassed to tell people that I was fasting. I don't know, did anybody else feel that way? Yeah, the older people. You guys don't, and you know why? Because of things like this. So give it up to Aram and for everybody who made this a possibility, because this is not a small thing. This is not a small thing. It's a really big thing because it gives us that confidence to stand up and come out as Muslims and enjoy our blessings with other people. That's where I started. The blessing of fasting is actually the joy of my whole year. Spending the night praying is actually my joy of my whole year. And the Prophet, peace and blessings upon him, asked us to be like a bird. What does that mean? He said the bird wakes up in the morning and he doesn't have any refrigerator, he doesn't have stockpiles of food, he's not imagining what it's going to be like. No, he takes off during the day, he finds his food, he fills his belly, and he comes back, relying on God the entire time. And each day that bird wakes up with that reliance on God. We have an opportunity in this month to do a similar thing. When I went on Hajj, I go as a group leader to Hajj, alhamdulillah, and one of the main questions that always comes about is this very specific question. How do I know that my Hajj was accepted? And I'll leave you with this. The answer is always the same thing. You know your Hajj was accepted if you're different after than when you came into it. And that is true of almost all the deeds that we do in life. If you can see that you come out of Ramadan a different person than you went into it, then you know you've succeeded. And by difference, the difference I'm specifically calling you to action this time is to make that difference in your community, to start events like this, to be a part of your local food bank, to start a food insecurity coalition in your very town, to be that person that when you're not there, people like Mayor Cohen are saying, where's Aram? You don't want to be that person that you're not there and nobody notices that you weren't there. You want to be that valuable to your community that you are noticed and remembered and treasured and in fact relied upon. Use this Ramadan to really find that purpose in your life and come out different. Find what it is that you love to do and come out different. That is my calling to you for this particular Ramadan. I would like to once again thank Mayor Cohen, thank the council, thank all of you for coming out. And now this is about 60 or 70 of these around the state. So this is an amazing accomplishment that we have. But let's not let this Ramadan go by with just fasting, going to another iftar, but let's really key in on it and lean into the pain and what it's supposed to bring to our lives. Thank you so much, and assalamu alaikum.
Okay, wow. That was beautiful and very deep, and I'm sure it resonated with a lot of us. I also wanted to point out we were one of the pioneers of Ramadan lighting. So give it up for Brad. Give it up for the mayor. All right, we're going to now do the most fun part of the evening. So if the kids can gather behind the sign. 6, 5,